eyes are on Texas, where the GOP candidates will face off in their 10th debate in a few hours from now. With 155 delegates, the Lone Star State will be the biggest prize of the primary season so far. A lot at stake with Super Tuesday just 5 days away. Texas is the home state of Senator Cruz, and the latest poll averages there show him ahead of Trump for now. But Trump doesn't appear to be concerned.
People have not done very well against me. So far, everybody that's attacked me has gone down.
I want to move on to Senator Cruz. On Monday, he seemed to toughen his talk on illegal immigration.
He was very, very weak on illegal immigration. Now, all of a sudden, he's getting tough. And he is because he's getting very nervous. I mean, I watched him the other day. He's a nervous wreck. He didn't know this was going to happen to him. And he's going down. And now he's actually in third place. He's not even in second place. It looks like Rubio has taken over reasonably solid in second place. And you know, I'm in first place by quite a bit. But he is very much toughened his stance because he was losing.
Tonight could be do or die for Cruz and Rubio, but they told Megyn Kelly last night that they're still confident that they can be the nominee.
The only campaign that can beat Donald, and the only campaign that has beaten Donald, is our campaign. And in my view, you know, you look nationally, anywhere from 65 to 70% of Republicans don't think Donald is the right candidate for us to nominate to go up against Hillary Clinton.
The biggest change in this campaign is going to be when the people not named Donald Trump, the choices begin to narrow, and we start to give the Republican voters a clearer choice of who they want to get behind. I can win. I can unify this party. I can grow this party, and I will win this election.
Charles Krauthammer has doubts, however. He warns that their campaigns are over if they don't change up their strategies.
If Cruz and Rubio continue what they're doing, they're going to lose. Cruz has to stop acting defensively, forget about the liar and the dirty tricks. He got distracted, ended up on the defensive, wasted time. He needs to find an attack line. And I think it might also apply to Rubio. What possibly would work against Trump? I think you want to do a distraction. I think you kind of go after him on the tax returns.
All right, the 10th debate. Gutfeld, are you ready?
I am. This is going to be ugly. I think that it's going to be the Thunderdome without the steel cage. There's one positive thing here. We have a doctor on stage.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be blood, and I think that this will be the audition for Surgeon General for Ben Carson when he performs mouth-to-mouth or does the chest thing, whatever you call that. I don't know. By the way, Marco Rubio... Resuscitate.
Yeah, with the defibrillator.
Do not.
Yeah.
When it comes to me, don't.
Don't worry.
But anyway, when you look at Rubio... Don't worry. Yeah. None of you are going to... You might catch something.
No, we might...
Is Rubio getting younger?
It
looks like he's running for student body president.
You know, the Fountain of Youth was said to be in Florida.
If he's at this rate, he's going to be in one direction. He is really looking good.
Pays well.
Yeah.
Kimberly, so the debate, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, I mean, you know, that lead-in from Greg, I think it's going to be pretty exciting because it's do or die time. It's all on the line. You got to do it. So let's see what they can come up with. But Trump is crushing it in Florida. His numbers are very good. You know, Rubio right now, he seems to be leaving Rubio alone. Interesting. And Rubio seems to be leaving him alone. So somebody's going to have to go on the attack. We're hearing some, you know, messaging that perhaps Rubio's team is saying, let's go after Cruz tonight. So let's see what happens, and let's see who Ben Carson can save.
Juan, Cruz had some decent numbers come out today in a couple of polls showing him in his home, at least in his home state of Texas, doing pretty well.
Right. So he's between I think it's 1 to 15% ahead right now. The question is, can he sustain it? He benefits in part from early voting, people who already voted in the state of Texas, and because he's Ted Cruz, he's the senator from Texas. But he's had a rough road over the last few days and last few weeks, and especially with all the firing of his communications director and charges of liar, liar, liar. Even last night, Donald Trump was tweeting that Ted Cruz is a loser and a liar, and why would you trust him? And don't forget, I love this part where he said, you know, not only was he born in Canada, he lived his first 4 years in Canada, and he only recently changed his citizenship, so doesn't have Canadian citizenship. Man, so I mean, it's personal. I think Greg is right. It's Thunderdome. But I would say if you're serious about it and you want to go at Donald Trump, then you got to really go at things like what Mitt Romney did. What about your taxes, buddy?
Yeah, we're going to get to that in a
I know. But also Vladimir Putin.
Juan likes
Why
to
not
jump the shark.
Oh, you love Vladimir Putin? Come on, let's see how much you like Vladimir Putin. And if you're a Republican and you like Paul Ryan, play. Hey, what's wrong with Paul Ryan's stand with regard to Medicare? Let's see it. Bring it on.
But Eric, as we know, you know all the numbers. So Texas is a big one, 155. But what are the rest of the numbers?
Proportional. I'm going to push back a little bit. I'm going to take the other side of a big raucous debate tonight. It's in Texas. This is Ted Cruz's home field advantage. If Donald Trump were smart, I would think he would say, I'm not going to get involved. Right. I have a lead in 12 of the 14 states and territories that are Super Tuesday, 600 votes. I'm going to try and get out of this.
You're going to try to tempt him, though.
Right, and here, this will be a good test of his demeanor, of his temperament. If he's smart, he'll say, I'm not going to bite. Okay, you're right, whatever, I'll move on. Or he'll fight back, and that's where I think he may get beaten up a little bit. He may lose some ground. Right now, look, so the debate's tonight. Super Tuesday is this coming Tuesday. There's nothing major in between the two of those.
Except for our show Sunday night.
Ted Cruz, thanks, Porter. Ted Cruz has to win Texas. And he can't just win it. He has to win it well. Otherwise, literally, there's no path. The other thing is Marco Rubio tonight. So what's he going to do? Is his thing going to go after Cruz? Doesn't make sense to go after for second place. That's insane. Go after Trump because you have to win Florida. If he's down by, I think the latest one is 7 points.
Unless this is what's happening.
Well, the only other logical explanation is Cruz and Rubio are young enough that they want to run another time after, and they're just staying in the game as long as they can.
Choose as VP. What if Trump does 4 years?
Yeah. Well, and you know who's going to be in the audience tonight?
President.
Anybody know who else is going to be in the audience?
Well, Telemundo. So this is going to be a Spanish soap opera because they're going to come after Trump about the wall, aren't they?
Hey, bueno. But that's not who I was thinking of. Do you know who's going? Anybody?
George Bentley?
George H.W. Bush and Mrs. Barbara Bush are going to be in the audience, Houston being their hometown. Let's take a look at Governor Kasich, who was on the Kelly File last night in that special candidate forum that she hosted, and gave a little pushback to Megan.
I'm just raising the concerns that a lot of Republicans have because they see you, even though they like you, struggling to get above the bottom rung in these elections.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Which is a state you saturated with. And their question
Megan,
is whether you are stealing votes from candidates who could actually win.
Well, first of all, I'm not sure who those people are. Okay, we're holding our own. We intend to keep going, Megan. We're not stopping, and I'm not giving up. That's just the end of it. And I'm certainly not listening to a bunch of people, insiders in Washington, D.C.
So he's like the outsider, outside.
Yes.
Inside out.
He's a little bit of both, I guess. You ever notice when everybody asks him a question, he always comes back, no, that's not the case. And then he goes off. And then he answers. That's it.
Juan, yeah, I could tell. He didn't really have a lot.
I got something on this. Kasich and his people are saying that they're very tired of everybody saying, you get out. They're like, they issued a statement today. Say, hey, Marco Rubio, how about you get out and step aside so you're not the blocker because we actually have a path because we can carry later states and have
I don't like all
Ohio.
The get out talk.
I feel like stay in if you want to stay in. If you've got money and infrastructure and support, do what you want to do up until a certain point. But does it have to be today? Maybe do this debate. There's Super Tuesday, and then that's that.
What do you think, Eric?
Here's what I think. I think John Kasich is optimistic, although if he were realistic, he would step aside because if he does win Ohio, right now I think the latest has him either neck and neck or maybe even drop behind a little bit Trump in Ohio. But if he does win Ohio, he gets the 66 Ohio votes that a Rubio or a Cruz would need to compete with Donald Trump. You need him. It's a winner-take-all state. Also, and if he wins it and then drops out after, those votes don't go to someone else. Those votes stay in his column until the convention. So feasibly, Donald Trump or someone else could go ahead and become the nominee, and those 66 votes could have made a difference. So, and by the way, he's polling behind everyone in a lot of the states coming up.
Juan, can I show a little clip of one of your friends? This is Dr. Ben Carson from last night.
Oh, how appropriate.
All right, so let me start with this. Really? Just beginning?
Absolutely. You know, 5% of the delegates have been selected already. We've got a long way to go. It's like a baseball game. And everybody wants to call the game after the first inning.
Okay, Juan, so we talked about this the other night on special election coverage. When he came in second to last in Nevada, he's come in about that in every other contest, but he vows to go on, and he says this is just the beginning. What does he mean by that?
He means that he feels that I don't know, he's on a mission, and it's religious. There's some zealotry about it, to be quite frank, and that he believes that much as he did amazing surgery, that, incredible things will happen. And his point, if you take him, let's just take him seriously, flat out what he's saying. He thinks there's a lot of opportunity for things to explode. So it could be at the debate tonight. It could be that somebody gets sidetracked. It could be that people learn some new information. We were talking earlier, let's say if at tonight's debate they take Trump seriously and start asking him about giving visas to you know, people at Mar-a-Lago, his state in Florida, and people say, hey, I don't know about Trump and immigration. Maybe he wasn't real. I don't know. That's what Carson is saying.
But that's a terrible strategy, just to sit back and wait. And in these debates, he always kind of like does the thing like, you forgot that I'm here. But it's up to him to make himself memorable. Why is it that this idea of like it's just started? Well, then you should start a fire, to quote Billy Joel.
You know, he doesn't. I mean, his thinking is really interesting on this because his thinking is trust in God and trust in other people coming to you, and that this mystery, this miracle will occur.
Okay, last thought. First inning of a baseball game? No, we're not. We're like coming
the seventh inning stretch?
Or later, Dana. I mean, especially for Ben Carson.
So
I mean, maybe, and that may be because he hasn't really done much politicking before. But he's very quickly coming upon. I think it's lights out already. But don't forget, Cruz and Rubio also beat the crap out of each other first before they realized we better go after Trump.
Do I get no credit for knowing what a seventh inning stretch was?
You get a lot of credit, actually.
The yoga terminology.
All right.